So you have experienced some growth in your business. Congratulations. You've been working hard, creating new customers, getting people in the door, and you're getting there. One of the things that inevitably happens when you do start to drive your revenue numbers, when you actually start to do business, is that you can work yourself into a position where it's hard to continue to deliver on the commitments you've made to your customers if you're going to continue to grow. It's a common scaling problem that almost every business encounters at some point along the way. So what do you do when you're in that situation? We're going to talk about three quick and simple strategies that you can consider to help you continue to grow your revenue whenever you're dealing with scaling issues. So the first strategy that we're going to talk about that you can consider, I'm going to make notes here while we go through these. So strategy number one that you can consider is to raise your prices. So if you've already gotten people to choose you, to start doing business with you, part of what that means is that you have proven that there is enough demand for your product at the price that you've picked that you can get people to pay it. So if that's true, then maybe one of the things you could consider is if there could be demand even at a slightly higher price. So that's option number one, is to consider raising your prices. The good news about this too is it doesn't require adding other things like more people or more space to be able to get a little bit of growth. But option number two would be exactly what I just mentioned. That is add people and or space. So if part of the limitation that you're facing is you don't have enough time with your existing staff to take care of the people who are choosing to do business with you, and or you just don't have the room to accommodate the people that want to do business with you, well, then one thing you consider is to add one or both of those two things. Add more people, add more space. This is a more capital intensive thing to do, but it gives you potentially immediate capacity and even more capacity than you would need initially. So it could take some significant pressure off. If you've been running the business in a really lean way, this might be hard to do financially because you're going to have to spend the money before you make the money. But if you have a little extra cash in the bank, this could help you out. One of the things you could do to try to help you figure out if you can afford the people or the space is to look at your numbers a little bit and get a sense of how quickly your revenue has grown in the recent past, and then make some reasonable guesses as to what you could expect your revenue growth to look like, and then use that to build a little bit of a model to help you understand how much budget you could have for the people or the space additions. So that's option number two, add people and or space. And then option number three would be to add additional lines of revenue. So if you've already proven that you can build a customer base, a clientele, to buy a particular product or service from you, and now you've got that clientele, those people have chosen you, they trust you enough to do business with you. One of the things you can ask yourself is, are there other things that this clientele wants or needs that I can provide? Especially if you can make the provision of that other thing something that could happen in the normal course of the way they do business with you. This is a really nice way to add incremental revenue without some of the challenges that go along with option number one or number two. So if a lot of the people who you do business with, they buy X from you, but if you just think about it logically, those are people that are probably also buying some Y and some Z. See if you can figure out a way to offer Y and Z, offer it in your physical location, offer it to them online, communicate with them. That's something they can get from you. But think about adding those additional lines of revenue. So those are three just quick strategies. Number one, raise your prices. Number two, add people and or space. Number three, add additional lines of revenue. These aren't mutually exclusive. You could really do all three of them at once. You want to be smart about the amount of energy, time, money that you have to devote to stuff like this to growth, because you also don't want to accidentally diminish the quality of your offerings to your existing clients. But that being said, it's not like these three things have to happen in sequence or they're mutually exclusive. You could do a couple of them, you could do all three. So let's consider those in your business: raising your prices, adding people or space, and adding lines of revenue. And hopefully that can help you continue to grow the business and continue to scale, not just for a little while, but for a long, long time to come.